Hello, my name is Siim Sikkut. I am the Government Chief Information Officer for Estonia. And thanks really for FemCat for having me to explain a bit about what has been Estonia's digital journey and how we have been going digital in our last 20 or so years. Indeed, Estonia has become known as e-Estonia because of the great extent that we use digital tools in our government and everyday lives in the whole of economy, actually. So we started very early back in the day, really for the reasons that we are very, very small. We are a country of 1.3 million people. And this means that, look, to be a full government with defense, welfare, the whole thing, we have to be very efficient in how we do things, in how we use the money we collect as taxes to provide services. So we started for the reasons of efficiency and really to be a better government. That's what started us thinking about going digital. We started in the late 90s, and look, there was a time when internet was just taking off and going mainstream. And first, we started really to experiment. We already had seen from private sector how, for example, back office is more efficient than if you use computers. So we started experimenting. Can internet, can digital tools and services really make us deliver better for our people? And as these experiments worked, we saw the value of going digital. Then it became a conscious strategy and effort all the way that it is today. And so if I just give you a glimpse of what it means to be Estonia for that matter, or how far we have reached in digital, then think about it this way. Everything you need to do or you want to do with the government, you can do online, except two things that you have to show up for. Then these two are to get married and to get divorced. And the reason is that legally speaking, if you take the romance out, legally speaking, these are the most consequential things you do in your life. You want to be extra sure you're doing it voluntarily. So even though technologically you could just digitally sign an act and send it away and you'd be married, but it's just exactly a risk management factor to show up for that. Anything else you can think about, any other interaction with the government, any application you do as a citizen, any report you submit as an entrepreneur, all these things you can handle yourself from a distance through a digital service. So, and this is, we've seen the value of that also in a good way, just over the last year. When COVID-19 hit and we had to move to remote work, remote everything, then obviously our government didn't stop providing the services because anything could be handled from a distance anyway. We didn't have people coming to offices even before the crisis, and so it's easy to continue now. So basically, it pays to be digital. It has been our story. And yes, the efficiency gains are there. Our police is more efficient in using data to provide for safer streets. They find more, criminals, more stolen cars, stuff like that. The health queues are shorter. Back office wise, we are able to, exactly cut back on public sector employment and or direct them to do more valuable jobs in the ministries. Many instances from field to field, ministry to ministry, we have seen the efficiency gains, and also the gains of better public service. But another good aspect of going digital has been that it greatly contributes to business environment. So as it is so easy to set up and run companies, this has greatly supported new company generation and startup ecosystem. And we even go all the way that, you see e-residency here. We offer our good business environment globally through the digital channels and through the help of digital tools. Basically, the digital services Estonia has built up are available globally for anyone to use. If you sign up and become virtually Estonian, you become Estonian e-resident. You can then set up a company right from a distance from Catalonia, do anything you want from wherever in the world. So in a way, going digital has also created a new economic growth stream for our country, because each week, each month, we get more e-residents than there are babies born in the country. And this grows our economy faster than otherwise was possible before. We grow faster in a digital space than perhaps in a physical, actual sort of economic world. Now, if these are the benefits, what have been some of the lessons learned and challenges we had to tackle? And I'll stop on a few. Well, first of all, the biggest challenge always is that it's a transformation thing we have to go through. I mean, we had digital transformation literally means we are changing how we work, how we do things, how we are used to doing things, and to combat legacy. So this has meant a few things, very practical speaking. Our mindset has always been that, look, let's try stuff out. Let's see how to make it work, as opposed to finding excuses why it shouldn't, or why it doesn't, or why we cannot do this. We've also had the benefit of leadership who's been willing to take risks and try stuff out. When we started with e-residency, there were many questions about how to make it work. We just took the startup approach and said, hey, let's bring it out, let's deliver and build it with the users, and if it works, let's scale. If it doesn't, we can always just cut the program. And so as it worked beautifully, we have been scaling it. But my point being that just start doing things is always my number one advice to anyone who asks about how do you go digital. Just start, just do it. You'll figure it out on the way if you don't have all the answers before. And there's so much you can borrow and learn from others, whether it's Estonia or otherwise. Second challenge, always time and money is short. And in the context of Estonia, we also have a limited talent pool to work with, even though we've been very open to work with our industry and partners from around the world to build the stuff we have now. But as these are short, we in Estonia adopted a platform approach very early on. That's a way to basically punch beyond our weight and get beyond the resource limit. It means that we build things out as platforms for everyone to reuse and share if we can. Digital identity is a platform. So we build, as opposed to every service provider, every ministry, every company building out their own authentication stuff. We rather build it out jointly with private sector and public sector partnership, and it's an infrastructure that the whole country can use. Anyone can just basically adopt the national identity as their authentication module. Not only do I log into my government services with my national ID, I can do the same for my movie theater as a loyal customer, for example. So it saves money and time for everyone. You didn't have to reinvent the wheel of how to authenticate and trust the users. Or another platform that we use is X-Road, which is nationwide data sharing solution. And it means that to provide a seamless service that to offer for a customer, our citizens also a chance to get everything done in one go with the government. We have to combine different data and agencies together. How do we do that? We securely exchange data through X-Road, a common way to integrate databases and systems. Technically, we have the ability to connect the whole of government together, even if we don't do it for privacy or other reasons. And so point being, again, agencies have not had the reason to reinvent this wheel. They've just taken the mode of the platform and reapplied it again and again. So platform approach makes stuff happen faster and much quicker and cheaper too. Third thing, challenge in a way, has been, of course, the issue of security and privacy is there. There's no question there. I mean, it's not been, but we have always seen it as not necessarily a challenge that, how to avoid it, but rather we've seen that we have to be good at cybersecurity. We have to be good at ensuring privacy, because that is an enabler that allows us to go digital with offering services to the people. If they trust us, they use the services. If they don't trust you, they don't use your services. So you can't go digital unless you're good in security. And what has that meant practically for us is that obviously we have adopted the approach that where we try to design stuff with security in mind. So we design already the services, the processes, the procedures themselves in a way to make sure that we don't violate privacy or that we build stuff securely. Obviously, there's also tech stuff we do, all the way from being an early adopter into what's now blockchain or otherwise to ensure security of some of the key stuff we use in government. But it's not just the building. Obviously, we have had to invest and become good also in terms of defending ourselves. So you will still be attacked. We are still attacked daily, but we just have to defend, and that's exactly the cost of being digital. The fourth thing, perhaps, and the last thing I'll bring out is often the challenge is when it comes to public sector is in law, in regulations that stop us from doing things. For us, again, we try to sort of take a tweak on this challenge. So not only have we focused on removing the barriers from law that sort of somehow limit our ability to go digital. So, for example, if some law has said, look, something needs to be submitted in paper by a citizen, obviously that's a barrier that has to be sort of taken out there, and an option for digital has to be laid. But we have also seen law as a chance to give us a kick in the butt and really just it more like gives a push, not just remove a barrier, but give us a push in a digital direction. So let me just give you a few examples. We use digital signatures extensively throughout the whole country and economy. Any contract literally these days is signed digitally as opposed to somehow coming together into a room, signing things on paper, etc. Why has this become possible based on our digital identity? Well, because very early on we brought in a law that said if digital signature is given with a proper digital ID, it's equal to handwritten signature. So that simple law meant that nobody can say no to a digitally signed document, and that forced everybody to go more digital like that. Or another sort of law we brought in, a principle we brought in is once only. So even if we have X road to exchange data between different parts of government, what has made it influential is that we brought in a principle that said, look, government should not ask you again for data. If some part of government knows something about you, they should exchange it in the back end, and then the service, the interaction for you is simpler, faster, and better because of that, more seamless. So if you only had to submit only the new data, so to speak, stuff can happen more automatically and sort of, easier for you. So we brought in this once only principle, and that pushed simplification and going seamless in many, many services very fast. So laws can be great barrier, laws are not just barriers, they can be great enablers and push for digital direction in public sector and beyond. So perhaps to end with, digital government is never ready. So technology moves ahead, our users' expectations move ahead. In Estonia, we're working on quite a few directions in the next thing. First of all, technologically speaking, we are very keen on artificial intelligence. So we see that this new wave of technology, even with today's state of art of AI stuff, even the simplest machine learning algorithms can make us so much more efficient again, can take the efficiency challenge, this efficiency goal that we have been having, we can take it to next level again, because we can now rely even more on computers and devices and machines than we could before. So simplest example, we don't have to have people in the courts anymore that type up court proceedings. Your and mine phone can basically do that. So we took that to the court proceedings, and things are faster there now. Many examples of low-hanging fruits, even with today's machine learning abilities, that we can take care of. But the bigger vision behind is that we want to use AI to make interaction with government radically simpler and easier. The simplest way for us to interact is voice, like we're talking now, even over video. And we believe that fundamentally all the interaction will move to virtual assistants that we command with our voice, the Siris, the Google Assistants, whatever's in the world, in your car, fridge, phone, whatever. We want to make our government, the Estonian government, accessible fully through those assistants, whether it's to find information or to provide a service and so forth. So that will be the interface, and that's the sort of network of those AI bots and agents we're building out to really make it so much simpler for us to get things done. But second point we're working on is to make actual services happen more or less automatically and invisible, so that the voice assistant or virtual assistant you can only or have to turn to if you can't get stuff done automatically. So even if in Estonia today, almost, like I said, besides marriage and divorce, anything you can do online, we can even take it to the next level. Perhaps many of those interactions we don't need at all. So we are bundling them together around life events. We are making many of those parts happen automatically. And so basically, we just want to reduce the load you have even with digital services. Invisible services is the way to go. To give you a point of example from entrepreneur's life, look, why do governments bother you with all those reports? Well, basically for the reasons that we need to get some data to make sure you're, for example, viable as a business, to ensure some compliance. Now, but data is digital, at least if you're a digital company. So why do we bother you to submitting again? If you give us access to your, let's say, your financial records or your ERP, perhaps then let's do it this way. We will never ask you for a report again. We get the data, machines do the number crunching, all the sort of verifications for compliance are done. Your reports are basically automatically submitted. You just go on with your business. So that sort of invisible services is what we want to build out. To end this, first of all, of course, thank you for paying a bit of attention, and sorry to make it like a short talk only. If Estonia's experience is somehow useful for you in your endeavors, then our IT industry is always happy to work to channel the experience and solutions we have built up here. And thanks really for FemCat for exactly this invitation and introduction. Good luck in your digital efforts and take care. Bye.